And we got a little bit of a turbocharger fire on the back of Eddie Cheever's car there. You see it burning on the left side. They should be able to put that out fairly quickly. Watching live, Raul Boisel, as he leads the group around. Everybody made pit stops. And we are getting ready to come back off of this second full course caution of the day as you ride with Robbie Gordon. We're ready to go back green. 14 cars on the lead lap. Jen Swintal, the IndyCar starter, has the green flag in his hand as he peers up toward that 13th and final turn. And here they come. And there's the green. Riding with Michael Andretti. Looks like he just brushed the wall a little bit.
That's pretty easy to do at this racetrack.
Boy, but keep an eye on the car.
Looks like it's all right so far, Paul.
Concrete canyons everywhere. Bushman stays in close pursuit of Andretti.
This track reminds me an awful lot of the Long Beach racetrack. You know, with concrete walls on both sides. The guys do rub them occasionally. It doesn't hurt the car unless you hit them kind of hard, though. There's somebody hit it really hard.
The wall.
Bachelard, it looks like. Eric Bachelard.
Dennis Vitolo.
Dennis Vitolo.
His first ride since the Indy 500 last year. Pretty severe damage to the nose. But they could change that and get it back to the pit area.
Remember,
yellow only in that area right now. Let me just give you the order, get everybody reset here, though. Michael Andretti leads it, followed by Gugelmin. Jacques Villeneuve, he moved up into third place. Danny Sullivan is fourth, and Scott Pruitt is fifth.
Now, you look at the front of that nose right there, and that'll show you how far safety has come from just, say, 3 to 5 years ago. He hit that wall pretty hard, Paul, and he's driving back in. Direct hit to the wall. Now, that shows the engineers and the kart guys have done magic.
We are now going full course yellow. Third one of the day. This race slowing down, 28 laps complete, 90 to scheduled distance. This is Michael's incident. Look at him get trapped down on the inside and brush the wall. The real question is, did he brush it or did he just kick up a bunch of sand? This is on board with Michael. Watch it, Bobby.
Yeah, now what happens is he's trying to pass on the inside, so kind of keep that in mind as we watch this. Gets kind of close. Yes, he hit it. That's not dirt. That's a hit.
No, that's a full
But remember,
hit.
If it doesn't break that wheel, the wheel is magnesium and they're very brittle if they're going to break. If it doesn't break that wheel, he didn't hit it hard enough to hurt anything, and it doesn't look like there's going to be a problem.
It doesn't change the suspension settings.
Well, it could, but he didn't really hit it hard enough in the front or the rear of the tire. It was kind of like a direct hit, and then it doesn't bend anything.
You see that little wave as he went by his pits? Let's go pit side and Jackaroo.
Well, Paul, trying to stay on top of every possibility, the Newman Haas team was ready for Michael Andretti to come in and take on new tires. What happened was he radioed in initially that he thought after that hit that the tire was beginning to go down. They're back behind the pace car. You can notice that he tries to wheel the car back and forth a little bit to see what the situation is. They're just going to stand by down here. It's going to be Michael's call whether he comes in or stays out.
Wow, did you see that? It looked like rush hour on I-95 here as the pace car came out. Michael Andretti had to jump on the brakes to make sure that he stayed behind it and the car ahead of him. Take a look
Boisel is right ahead of him. He's the guy that almost hit the pace car. Look at all the smoke right there. That's Boisel catching the pace car. Didn't know it was there. Probably running 170 miles an hour. Now the pace car is going to wave him by because he's really down a lap. It's going to be a big gain for Boisel right there.
Well, the officials have been, and rightly so, adamant about enforcing these blend rules and keeping the cars in order. So they help keep fairness into the event. And there can be some pretty severe penalties if you get around that car. Jill DeFerrin's car has been taken into the paddock area. It's out of the race. And Gary Gerald has an update on Eddie Cheever.
Well, Eddie Cheever has been in the pits on 2 occasions. He had damage up on the front wing, Paul, and they had what resulted in him shearing off a brake rotor. So he has no front brakes. They've tried to make some repairs. He has rear brakes. He is now back out on the circuit. Meanwhile, in the adjacent pit, Adrian Fernandez was involved in that earlier bumping incident, had suspension damage on the left front side. The crew has replaced all of that. He's now back on the circuit.
If Michael Andretti makes a pit stop, the leader will be Mauricio Gugelmin, whose best finish last year was a 5th and Vancouver. So suddenly we're going to see a man unaccustomed to being right at the very front catapulted into a commanding position. And he is driving for a team that has not tasted the lead either, Pac West.
Sam, another guy that's out of the race right now is Emerson Fittipaldi. He's had apparently problems that couldn't be fixed, and they pushed his into the inside now.
You know, Toyota has been experimenting with a motor designed for the Indy cars. We wondered at this race just how close they were to debuting the new engine. "30 laps complete, 90 scheduled. First full course, our third full course caution of the day. Michael Andretti is still the leader. Mauricio Gugelmin second. Jacques Villeneuve has moved from 8th up to 3rd place. In 4th place is Danny Sullivan. 5th is Scott Pruitt. 6th is Bobby Rahal, and Robbie Gordon, who started in 14th, is now 7th.
Well, of course, you hear about Toyota possibly coming back with Dan Gurney as the team leader. Bobby, you drove for Dan Gurney. He built the Eagle cars with which you were so successful. It would be great to have him back in this series.
Well, not only that, Sam, there's just going to be another new Eagle. Now, I think this is the neatest part about the whole Toyota thing is Dan Gurney and Toyota building their own thing. So Dan Gurney will be back in the chassis building business. I just talked to Kathy Nealon last night. It's almost done.
Here we go, green once again.
So now we're going to find out what condition Michael Andretti's car is in. If he's able to continue out front, we'll know it's probably okay.
That predominantly green and yellow car there is Salazar, with Jacques Villeneuve coming up behind him.
Salazar is Dick Simon's new driver, 40 years old, veteran of IMSA competition. You see the car on the right there, just going through the turn.
And there is the true battle for position. Sullivan just behind Villeneuve and then Pruitt, then this car Rahal and Gordon just behind him.
Pruitt is driving a terrific race, currently in 5th place on the new Firestone tires. He's been out for a year and he's come back hot.
Sullivan looks for room outside. Pruitt closes in. Great fight here.
Sullivan's last win was back in 1993 in Detroit. He's been out of business, so to speak, since then. But this team, which it seemed like a long shot, really, may not be at all. It may be one of the best teams in the business right now.
You know, one of the neat things when you see a group that's as tight as that group was, Sam and Paul, you know that the drivers not only have to look ahead of them, but they're watching both of their mirrors because somebody's trying to get around them on both sides.
Big name out of the race. Here's Gary Gerald.
Well, that big name is Emerson Fittipaldi. Emmo, I know you didn't have radio. Then there were problems. Did it relate to electronics?
Yeah, it must be. I mean, I started no radio, and then the engine started to misfire, and then just nearly stopped, and we changed all the systems, the electrical system. It still misfired the engine. There's no way even to get out of the pit. I'm very disappointed, but beginning of the season, we have the whole season ahead of us, and we should be much stronger in Australia.
Is there a concern that your teammate is having the same problems in Alan Jr.'s car?
It looks like, I mean, he already, but his car seems to be running okay now, and we're just looking. I'm looking for Australia for the championship now. That's Miami's gone now.
Only a couple of weeks away and a tough day for a man who just lives 10 minutes away by boat. Thanks, Emmo.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, definitely a hometown event for Emerson Fittipaldi. Allinger Jr. is 21st right now, 5 laps behind the race. And everybody is bottled up right now behind Salazar as Jacques Villeneuve looks for any room that he can find. And the rest of the group is looking for whatever hole gets left open.
Well, this is going to make some really good racing because they're packed in tight. And every time they get down to the sharp corners or the tight corners, well, they're trying both sides, any hole that they can find to do some passing.
Salazar, as I said, is 40 years old. He won 3 IMSA races last year. He's a very determined man. He's not going to just wave people by. He knows he can win races, even if he hasn't yet proven he can win IndyCar races.
So Villeneuve has passed him. Now Sullivan moves to the inside. So does Pruitt, so does Rahal, so does Robbie Gordon. Allinger Jr. is there too, though remember he's 5 laps off the pace.
You know,
on board with Gordon.
With Robbie Gordon right there. And talking about Scott Pruitt, the red and white car when you see it, with Firestone across the back. That's Pat Patrick's car. Pat Patrick, who helped start CART, one of the originators of it. It's back into motor racing, and I think all of us are glad to see Patrick back.
Oh, and carrying his traditional number 20, the car that he's won Indy with and championships with. Yes, it is nice to see Pat back, and nice to see Firestone back as well. has suggested a whole new playing field for strategy available in the tires now.
You know, Paul, nobody really thought, including myself, that Firestone would be so competitive in the first race. And already you can see Scott Pruitt. He's giving nothing up on the tires.
So in 7th place, this car, Robbie Gordon. Michael Andretti is still the leader, followed by Mauricio Gugelmin. We're back live, and this has just happened as Alessandro Zampedri climbs out of his car. It seems like he's been struggling with the handling on this car most of the day, and he just jumped it right into the tire barriers, not very far from the edge of the water. So Zampedri will bring out now the 4th full course yellow of the day. So full course yellow once again. That familiar number 6 out in front with Michael Andretti at the wheel and Alessandro Zampedri. He walks back to the pits, his day already complete.
Not very often that I can remember that we've ever seen a car get up on top of the tires. Because the cars are so low, they usually get underneath the tires, get the tires over them. He got his completely up on top. I'll bet he was wondering about that one.
He lives in Monaco. You know, Bobby, you made the point earlier, the rivalry between the tire companies. We have a sensational rivalry among the engine suppliers and the chassis manufacturers as well, so it's a wonderful season this way. Nobody seems to have the same combination of car. It's not a cookie cutter series at all.
So the car up on the tires there. Back live in Miami. 15 laps of yellow, full course yellow thus far in the race. This is our 4th yellow of the day, but it does give us a chance to go down to the pits and see somebody we haven't seen in a long time, Gary Gerald.
Well, indeed. Pat Patrick has had national championship IndyCar drivers in the past. He's been away from the sport all last year testing. And, Pat, I know the byword has been cautious optimism, and it looks like it's all starting to pay off because this team's doing a heck of a job in this opening event.
Jerry, we're very happy. The tires are working very well. The car is performing extremely well, and Scott's doing an excellent job. We're very pleased overall.
You had those fingers crossed. Are they still crossed? We're checking down here. Yeah, they are. They're still crossed, Paul. Pat, you put in about 12,000 miles of testing in the last year. Have you ever undertaken such an extensive program?
No, I didn't. As you know, I got on the Alfa Romeo program, and it didn't work for various reasons. But when Firestone and Patrick got together, we made an arrangement right up front that we had to do a tremendous amount of testing to be sure the tire worked. And obviously it's working. We think we just turned the fastest lap of the race. You may have Paul and Bobby check that, but I think that's correct.
Well, this guy Scott Pruitt can handle a race car, can't he?
Yes, he can. Thank you.
Congratulations. Keep it going, Pat.
Thank you.
There he is. He currently runs in 6th place. Scott Pruitt.